Chapter 27. Javen Morris wasn't in a good mood. The morning had not started well, and the rest of the day was sure to get worse. It began when he'd overslept his alarm. Granted, he didn't have regular office hours, but he still liked to be there before 8. While showering, he ran out of hot water halfway through washing his hair. He mentally recorded the complaint he'd need to lodge with the apartment manager. For the 5th time that month, he considered looking for another apartment. While he liked the location and the rent, he grew weary of things constantly breaking down in the building. He decided to make himself a couple of pieces of toast, placing the bread in the toaster. Flipping open the lid of his laptop, he began to scan his email. As he was scrolling through several of the emails that had arrived, the smoke detector went off, sending electronic screams of terror into his apartment. Realizing the toaster had burned the toast again, he jumped up from the table to silence the smoke detector. He retrieved the crispy, blackened bread slices from the unit, burning the tips of his fingers. He chose to skip the toast and opted to have a bagel or something else later. After fetching a cup from the shelf, he poured himself some coffee and returned to the table to sit. As he sat down, his leg accidentally hit the table, which caused the coffee to spill onto the tabletop and his pants. Son of a bitch! He got up from the table, cleaned up the spilled liquid, and changed his pants. After putting ointment on his burned fingers, he gathered his laptop and keys and left his apartment. On his way down to the lobby, he undertook to visit the apartment manager and exited the elevator on the 3rd floor, marching to the manager's office. Terry, the apartment manager, was at his desk when Javen entered. "Good morning, Javen. How are things today?" Terry asked, looking up from his paperwork. "It's not a good morning at all, Terry. For one thing, I ran out of hot water this morning while taking a shower." "Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't you see the notice on the board that mentioned we were having the boiler service today?" Javen recalled the board was in the lobby, where various notices about the goings-on within the building were posted for the residents. Sheepishly, Javen said, "No, I guess I forgot to check the board last night when I got back." "Well, it's actually been posted for over a week. I'm very sorry for the inconvenience, though," Terry offered. "Don't worry, the plumber said it should be back in service by mid-afternoon." Javen was furious as he had nobody to blame except himself for the oversight. "Great. Thanks for the update," Javen managed to say as he turned to leave. "Hope your day gets better," Terry called out. "Not likely," Javen mumbled under his breath. Arriving at the office, Javen grabbed a donut from one of the boxes in the coffee room and poured himself the first cup of brew he would drink today. The team called the black, steaming liquid brew because calling it coffee would have been an insult. He went to his desk, wandering through the aisles between the cubicles, feeling like a mouse, searching for the cheese in a maze. Reaching his desk, he noticed a manila envelope sitting on top of it. The envelope was blank, having no markings. "Does anyone know where this envelope came from?" he called to the co-workers who had their desks close to his. What came from?" one of his co-workers asked. "This envelope on my desk, it has no name or markings on it." "No idea," someone else said. Javen reached for a latex glove from his desk drawer. After putting it on, he picked up the envelope carefully at the corner. The envelope was light, feeling empty. He picked up the phone and called down to the mailroom. "Mailroom, Janice speaking." "Janice, it's Javen Morris. On my desk, there's an envelope with no name or markings. I'm curious if you folks put it there." With a tone of sarcasm, she said, "We would be the ones to do that." "Well, if you did, how did you know it was for me since it contains no name or other markings?" Now that's a good question, I don't know." "Well, all mail is logged when it comes into the bureau. You must have something listed for me in the log. Can you check and get back to me as soon as possible? I want to be sure this came through normal channels." "Sure, I'll call you back in 5. "Thanks." His attention turned back to the envelope, and he decided to run it through the mail scanner while waiting for the call from the mailroom. The scanner was similar to the X-ray machines found at the airport, but more sophisticated, able to scan objects to a finer granularity. He took the envelope to the room where the scanner was located, placed it in the unit, and turned it on. Passing through the scanner, the results showed that the envelope contained a small piece of paper. He removed the envelope from the scanner and returned to his desk. He pulled a dust kit from a drawer and dusted the envelope for prints. To his surprise, nothing showed up. The phone on his desk rang, and he answered it on the first ring. Javon here. Hey, Javon. Janice, I don't show anything in the log for you yesterday or today. Are you sure? Yes, the last mail we had for you was 2 days ago. It was an envelope from Coronation Park. Right, I saw that one. Okay, thanks for checking. My pleasure, she said, and hung up. Javon took a letter opener and carefully opened the bottom flap of the envelope. By lifting the flap slightly, he was able to catch a glimpse of the small paper inside. He reached for a pair of tweezers from his top drawer and extracted the article with them. He turned the object around, looking at the front and back. It appeared to be a blank piece of paper. He put it back into the envelope and, taking it with him, set off for the forensics lab. He reached the reception desk for the lab and was greeted by a female technician he hadn't seen before. She had auburn shoulder-length hair that fell gently on her white lab coat. Hi, I'm Javon Morris, he said, introducing himself. I've not seen you here before. I just started this week. I'm Susan O'Reilly. Nice to meet you, Susan O'Reilly. There's a bit of a conundrum I'm dealing with, and I'm hoping for your help with it. With a smile, she said, I can definitely give it a shot. On my desk this morning, I found this envelope. It has no name and no markings, including fingerprints. The envelope contains a small piece of paper inside that also appears blank. The mailroom has no record of it coming into the bureau. I'm wondering if there's anything on the envelope or the paper that you can find. Wow, that is an odd one. We can check on it and let you know. Another thing, I need this ASAP. Sorry. I'm not sure what the protocol here is for expediting things since I'm new. I'll need to check with my supervisor. You mean Matt? Yes, he's my supervisor. Tell Matt that Javon is calling in one more favor. I'm sure he'll agree to get on that quickly. Okay, Mr. Morris, I'll ask. Call me, Javon. Mr. Morris is too formal for this office. He gave her a big smile and a wink, placing the envelope into her delicate gloved hands, and returned to his desk.